Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Happy Friday. Happy, 3 days before Christmas. Whatever you're doing around the world, wherever you are. Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is Petal. As you can see, we're talking about our faves. We still can't get over this clever, little, nerdy, dorky, cute, clever video of Meghan's. I feel like that was the first thing we did the last episode, the first thing we talked about. And here we are again, 3 days later, 3 days later, and we're still talking about Meghan and her little clever little clever ad. So, well, not even a clever, it's not even an ad. It's just they're just thinking, I mean, it's an ad in the sense of, yes, it's, you use it for advertising because I guess Meghan is in there. But I mean, it was all just about thanking the staff for, a successful 2023. And so, but it's not just me. It seems no one else can get over the fact that Meghan did this ad or this little dorky little commercial. I love her nerdy glasses. It's like, oh, I love her nerdy, dorky cuties. But before I even get there, let's just say hi to everyone in the chat. I'm sorry, guys, it's such a last minute video or last minute live. It was one of those things. It was like I wasn't sure of my schedule, if I could do it now or if I needed to do it later. And then my plans kind of got not messed up, but sort of rearranged. And I was like, I could do it now. So I was like, well, let's just do it now. And later I'm going off to, I haven't done any traditional Christmassy things in New York, like going and seeing the tree. I'm not like a big traditional person. So I mean, I don't even have Christmas tree or lightings, or I'm so not a traditional person. So I decided this year I'm gonna go, do some traditional things, like go see the tree lighting and go see, go back to the park and watch some skating, or maybe go skate. I haven't gone skating in quite a while. I haven't done that in a while. There's also like the Field of Lights. I haven't even seen that yet. So I was like, okay, the next few days I'm just going to devote to just going to doing regular, traditional Christmassy things and go watch Christmassy displays in stores that I just never do. And so so I'm going to try to have some kind of tradition. So Lord willing, for the rest of, I guess in the next years, I'm going to add some traditions to my life because I'm just not into it. But anyway, so that's what I should be doing the next few days. But so I'm glad I can just hang out here and do a live right now and then go off and do some Christmassy things later. But back to our fave. Hello, my friends in the chat. Just say hi to my friends in the chat. I am not ignoring you. I see you. I said hi to Karen M and Lydia earlier. Hello, Karen M and Lydia. It was so last minute. I was like, I think it'll just be the three of us because nobody else probably know I'm having a live right now. But it seems like a few more friends have joined. Alma is here and Ernie is here. Oh, Ernie, cool. Welcome. Hi, Ernie, cool. And Janet is here. Hello, Janet. And Emma Day, hi. How are you guys? Merry Christmas, happy holiday, happy Kwanzaa, whatever it is you celebrate. Happy, Hanukkah, I think, went by already. So, but belated Hanukkah, if you celebrate Hanukkah. Happy belated. Karen is here. Hi, Karen Warner. And who else is here? Oh, Janet Lavallee here. Janet. Hello, hello, hello. Perlina is here and Jay Patterson is here. Hi, guys. I am very happy you're here. Auntie Jane and Leslie F is here. Hello, Leslie. So happy you guys are here. And so hopefully some more of our friends will join us at some point. But back to Meghan and this ad that people can't seem to get up. They just can't seem to let go of. And it's one of those things. I love squatties because they would do stuff like this and they would squatties would gather these lists. And one of our squatties, a royal priesthood, an ex, has put together this list of, and this is just some of the media coverage of this little video of Meghan being a nerdy intern. I mean, look at this. This is crazy. But that's just like the star power of Meghan. The girl breathes. She goes outside and breathes. and everybody covers it. And it's like I was saying, I think it was an episode ago where it's just like, oh, she returned to acting. Oh, she's rebranding. Oh, and it's just like, people, it's just a video. Chill out. It's just a little video. Chill out. It's not, the world is not changing because Megan is in a video for a company she's an investor in, the first investor of this company. So there you go. So the wonderful thing about this, and I'm sorry, it's a little bit faded, so we can't see all, you can't really make out some of the name. I didn't realize how faded it was when I was putting it together. It looked bright. And so, but for some reason on here, because I think it's not a 1080, so it's a 720 resolution. That's why I think it's so faded. So I apologize. I was looking at it in at 1020 when I was putting it together, and then completely forget on StreamYard. It is a 720 resolution. That's what I got. So sorry, but anyways, but yeah, I mean, again, this is the star power of Meghan. No matter what it is she does, whether it's something she wears, she's outside breathing. This is the kind of coverage, and it's very funny to me because it's always there's always this narrative that Harry and Meghan are failing, that they are not relevant anymore, that they're not popular, that they're not, and it's just like, all of these news outlets would be covering someone who is not relevant, not popular, not all of the things, who's a failure. All of these, this is what you do. You just cover people who are failures in life. And so again, it's like what I was saying the last episode, how especially the American media, their whole narrative, it's kind of like how the British press are with the royal family. They do these puff pieces, and then you also get these reconciliation. Their thing is the reconciliation, the olive branches, the whole, the building bridges and all of that nonsense. And the US press is all about people making a comeback. So what they try to do again is they exaggerate to the maximum someone's supposed failures so that they can have a resurrection, they can have a comeback. So the American press is a comeback story. So you have all these ridiculous narratives especially these days, with say the Hollywood Reporter and Deadline. For some strange reason, they have become tabloids, and only because they want this comeback story, that they've come back and resurrected their careers from the dead. And it's so ridiculous. It is just so ridiculous. And so that's why most people don't pay attention, because none of the things they're saying add up to anything because Harry and Meghan aren't going anywhere. What are they going to be resurrecting from? Their careers haven't gone anywhere, in the sense of, there's, yes, this has little ups and downs or little blips in the road, but that's just everybody's career. And so there's nothing drastic or major that happened, and so they want to highlight that, oh, but this Spotify deal. Spotify, a lot of deals with a lot of people have been canceled, or they've walked away. People have walked away from Spotify, for a lot of them for the very same reason. Spotify just doesn't produce a lot of the stuff that they're set up and they sign a bunch of people, and they're very slow in producing, and people walk away because they get frustrated with Spotify. The Obamas did it. I mean, Ava DuVernay did it. I mean, a bunch of other people have walked away from Spotify for the same reason, including the Sussexes. So they are trying to make these things this major deal, and it's not. And so they end up looking stupid and desperate, like, oh, but we need a comeback story. And it's just like, case in point. I mean, I didn't even bring it here. I think Us Magazine, their weekly thing is I think I saw like a cover that says like Harry and Meghan come back or some stupidness like that. It was just like, yeah, that's what they're looking for. So comeback story that's just not there. So, but again, this is just the some of the coverage of a little silly video of Meghan being a nerd. That's all this is. And look at the coverage. And this is worldwide. And so, which is great for Clever. I mean, this is like, other than when Meghan did the last commercial, or when they did, when Oprah had it on her Instagram when, that was the first time the majority of the world were hearing about, and us were hearing about Clever. And so this is like the biggest promotion. They have now, as they said, sold over 6 million lattes. So you would assume that a lot more lattes have been sold in the last few days since this little video has come out. So great job, Meghan. Yeah, and for the people that are hating on her, it's like, thank you for keep publicizing her. Meghan is making bank. You just keep publicizing it, and more people are going to be hearing about it and buying lattes. More money in Meghan's pocket. So keep going. But yeah, and for me, I these are the two that I got. I mean, I don't know, I know a lot of people got them. These are the two that I was able to get, and but the matcha is my favorite one. The other one is, it's interesting, and but I wasn't a huge fan of that one, but the matcha one I really liked. Yeah, so, and it's so funny because I would add like coconut milk or something to it. And I'm realizing now, recently, like, oh gosh, even coconut milk I'm allergic to. So if I get it again, I'm just gonna have to have it without the coconut milk or the almond milk, because my allergies. But yeah, so matcha is my favorite, and I love the fact that Meghan was holding the matcha. I was like, yep, that's my girl. That's the matcha. So I don't know if you guys have tried it. And again, I am not paid by Clever in any way. I'm not. It's not an advertising. It's just like, this is, I'm just saying this is my favorite one of the two. The others I haven't tried, but these two I've tried, and the matcha is my favorite. So yeah, don't know which ones you like, but let me know. What else is happening in the world of our faves? Well, it's the end of the year. um the end of the year, so all of the best of everything is coming out as usual in the press. Is the best of, and so of course Spare is the best of on just about everybody's list, or at least top 3 or top 5 in the best of in every way. So yeah. um Oh, I have some, like, a lot matcha. Lisa saying, like, oh, hers London Fog Super Latte is her favorite. Oh, I didn't even know there was that one. Okay, there you go. She like London Fog. And Angelina saying, I hear nighttime one is really good. I like the matcha, and I have a few lemonades. Oh, okay. Cool. I had not noticed about the London Fog, but because I've only really interested in the matcha. So I have to go check that one out and see what it is and see what's in it. Let's see. Jay Patterson says, yeah, I like the matcha. I like the mocha, and ordered the London Fog. Oh, seems the London Fog is very popular. So I will check that out too. We'll see. Thank you. And it's so funny because I had never had a latte before Clever. For some reason, it's just never been something that I was interested in having. I'm more of a tea person, so I've never in my life thought of I don't know why. I just never thought of having a latte. And so yeah. And also I'm not a coffee person, so I think that's part of that whole thing. So anything around there has just never been my thing. So yeah, Clever got me into lattes. And so anyways, moving on to Prince Harry. So Forbes had sometimes Forbes is a hit or miss for me, and so I tend to leave it alone. But Forbes had their 13 best-selling celebrity memoirs. And this is very interesting because it talks, it goes into talking about different celebrities who have their memoirs, but a lot of it, a lot of controversy around it, and how the controversy hasn't helped some of them. But it's saying that 2023 was arguably a year for celebrity memoirs. From the first month of the year when Prince Harry's highly anticipated Spare came out, to the final few months when spicy tell-alls from Britney Spears and Jada Pinkett Smith landed this year, has been a chock full of stars confessing all. It turns out that only the highest profile of all stars can move major book sales. While tomes of celebrities, including Dolly Parton and Henry Winkler, sold respectable numbers, they were nowhere near the sales of Harry and Brit. And a little bit of what they said about Spare says the Duke of Sussex, which was number one, obviously, had not just one of the best-selling books of the year in any genre, but also one of the best-selling celebrity memoirs ever. It sold 1.2 million, over 1.2 million copies since its January 10th release date. A majority of those sold in the first few weeks of publishing, and that's for books. And don't think that includes, obviously, doesn't include worldwide sales, and also doesn't include audio, etc., online and audio. So yeah, I mean, look, and again, it went into talk about just, how, for example, with Jada Pinkett Smith and all of the, the slap and, and all of that stuff, and the all of the things that goes on with Jada and Will and all of that stuff. And even though it was very, there was a lot of interviews and a lot of drama around it and all of that stuff, it didn't sell very well. I think it only sold like around 44,000 copies. Now, I don't know if obviously for online sales, etc., and audio sales, but in terms of hardcover, it hasn't sold that well. And so, yeah, but of course, Prince Harry is number one there, and I guess Britney Spears is number two, obviously. And Amazon, I think we looked at a little bit of this the last time. Amazon, Prince Harry Spare becomes Amazon best-selling book of 2023. Obviously, I mean, we've been predicting this the whole time, so it is awesome. Says Amazon today reveals the best-selling and most read book of the year, Prince Harry's autobiography Spare, released to the world in January, has taken the top spot on Amazon most sold list. Harry's autobiography isn't the only big name on the best-selling list this year, with Woman Me by Britney Spears making the top 10, and Friends, Lovers, and Terrible Things by Matthew Perry, I should say the late Matthew Perry, who tragically died recently. That was very, very sad. And if you know Matthew Perry from Friends, he just passed away. And so his book was, actually his book came out right before Prince Harry's book. I think his book came out in, I want to say December, and Harry's book came out in January. And so, yeah, and it did very, very well. And so it's sad that he didn't, he's not alive to see that his book at the end just is one of the top memoirs. There were controversial things in there as well, as most memoirs have. Says Matthew Perry sitting just outside the top 20. The two most famous Harrys in the world dominate Amazon's most read list, with Prince Harry Spare, and Harry Potter series claiming top 10 spots. J.K. Rowling also featured with 2 novels from her Cormoran Strike crime fiction series, making top 20 under her pseudonym Robert Galbraith. I had no idea about this. I did not know that J.K. Rowling had another series under her pseudonym. No idea. That is wild. So kudos again for Prince Harry. And not only that, we've been paying attention to library Twitter the entire year. I got into library Twitter, and it's been a lot of fun following libraries. And I was just like, oh, didn't know that was a thing before the beginning of the year. But hey, Gothamist had a whole thing about the libraries and what was popular. Women authored most borrowed books from New York City public libraries in 2023. This says, I'm Glad My Mother Died by Jeanette McCurdy. And she's an actress, if you don't know her. She was an actress who, I think from her childhood, was a very abusive childhood. And so she wrote a book called I'm Glad My Mother Died. And it was a very tragic situation with her. So, and it's been very popular the whole year. I happened to listen in on some of her interviews about the book. I have not read the book personally. It says, I'm Glad My Mother Died by Jeanette McCurdy was Brooklyn Public Library's most checked out, while Fourth Wings by Rebecca Yaros was the favorite for Queens Public Library patrons, and Lessening Chemistry by Bunny Garmus was the most popular book in the New York Public Library, which serves Manhattan, the Bronx, and Staten Island. The only male author to break into the uttermost ranks citywide was Prince Harry, who made waves and sometimes overshared. Well, yeah, the Toucher story in his 400-page memoir Spare. And so I like this. The Gothamists broke it down, So for system wide, for the New York, New York State system wide, is Spares, you can see, is number 3. So for all, whether it's New York, New Jersey, New York, Brooklyn, Staten Island, and all of that stuff, all together, Spare was number 3. But individually, number 2, Brooklyn Public Library has it at number 2, and Brooklyn Public Library decided to get all fancy about their stuff. It's like, we've compiled our top checkouts for 2023. Did one of our favorite did one of your favorite make it on the list? And so, of course, as you can see, Prince Harry there at number 2. And for the Brooklyn Public Library, which is really fun. Earlier this year, I did a little video there from the Book of Hove, where Jay-Z had his exhibit there, and it's a really cool exhibit for Jay-Z. So I have a little video on our YouTube channel, the book from the public library on the Book of Hove. The Bronx, I'm like, yes, Bronx. I mean, Bronx is out there holding up Prince Harry, and the Bronx Spare was number 1. In Manhattan, which was like, shame on us in Manhattan, Spare was number 5. I was like, number 5, Manhattan, what happened? But hey, Bronx is all here for Prince Harry, but only number 5 at Manhattan, and then number 3 in Staten Island, and number 2 in Queens. So but again, as you notice, the only guy that got in there was Prince Harry. Everybody else is were women. It's like, yeah, women writers. But Prince Harry Spare got in there. So this is for the New York Public Libraries. These are the most popular, the most checked out books. And so thank you, Gothamist, for putting that all together, so we know where Spare ranked. And Marigold Library System, don't even know where that is, but it says your most read book, Spare by Prince Harry, of course. And the Chicago Tribune says most popular nonfiction, Spare by Prince Harry, from significant moments of his younger years without his mother Diana to his days in the British Army. Prince Harry has struggled with anger, loneliness, and most significantly, accepting life in the spotlight. Then he met Meghan Markle. The couple were preyed on by the press and subjected to waves of abuse, racism, and lies. With his wife suffering, Harry fled the United Kingdom and the royal family, and an act few had dared. For the first time, Prince Harry tells his own story, chronicling his journey with raw, unflinching honesty. Spare is full of insight, revelation, self-examination, and hard-won wisdom about the eternal power of love over grief. I like that. I really, really like this. I really, really like this review of Spare. I was like, exactly. They just sort of captured what Spare is about there. And I love that. I love when someone read it and then just get it. And they're not putting anything on it that it's not there, or assuming anything. Just say, this is what it is. And I love that. So I think I'll hold on to that review of Spare. But again, if you are in the squad and you're surprised about this, you haven't been paying attention, because this is exactly what we predicted from the beginning of the year to now. It's just like, we've all known from the beginning, this book is special. It's, and I don't know how much Harry and Meghan are online, but I'm assuming their publisher and their people would know and would be seeing all of this and all of the praise that Spare has gotten, and they are just, and he's, they really are just reveling in the fact that this book is just, I mean, it's tops on everybody's list. Again, at least top five when it comes to New York. It's like, New York, what are you thinking? What do you mean it's only the top five? But it's top five everywhere. So it is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful to see. So congratulations, Harry and Spare. And not only Spare is doing good thing, we know that, the British press have been like crowing because for them, Endgame has not been doing well, and they have been posting that it's only sold like 7,000 copies. It only sold, I mean, of course they are not putting the audio version, which the majority of people like myself would get, and or the online is usually the hardcover sales, and so they have been really crowing because of their efforts of bashing the book in every way, shape, or form, and lying about the content of it, misrepresenting in every single way. So they have been crowing that the book isn't doing well, but it's like, well, it's on the New York Times. It's number 7 on the New York Times bestseller list. So it's doing well. Thank you very much. I'm sure Scobie is happy. Admittedly, I would have thought that it would have done actually even better than it's doing now. But again, if it was about the Sussexes, then yes. But when you realize the book is not about Harry and Meghan, it actually is a much better book than Finding Freedom, with the history that's in there, the topic, the way how he deals, like you can see the maturity of a writer. And so he did a really great job. He did a really, really great job. I mean, the man had me, interested in a piper, somebody blowing a bagpipe. I was just like, I can't believe I'm actually caring about this bagpipe person. So, and their relationship with the Queen. And he even that relationship made me feel like, oh, well, that's actually cute. You know how I feel about Queen Betty. And it was just like, that's good writing. So I really, congratulations to him, with his book. And again, there are things in the book that I was like, maybe you went a little soft on Camilla and Kate there. I didn't completely agree with, but that's his take. Everybody has their own take on things. So, but I'm sure Homemade is, seeing Endgame. He even posted on Twitter that the sales have picked up. So I think after the initial, with the British press going crazy and falling off of the cliff as they usually do, it's picked up, and the sales are picking up. So good for them. And so again, it's number 7 on the New York Times bestseller list. So good for Omid. So it looks like US is helping Omid out there. So that's great. So. But hello, all my friends in the chat. I see a lot more people coming in the chat. Hi. Let's see. How do you say this? Do you say the C of Psy? Or how do you say the first name? Give me a phonetics. Sikai? Yeah, definitely give me a phonetics. I would love to say it correctly. And Gwen is here, and Cutler is here, and Rafaela. Hello. Connie Mama is here. Hello, guys. Lana Andrews and Shirley. I see all you guys here. Hello. I know it was a little bit like last minute this podcast, so sorry. I know that if it's under an hour when I post the podcast, then YouTube does not give an alert under an hour. So that's why. So I apologize. It was a last minute decision instead of waiting for later on today. So I apologize. So, but I'm happy you're here. All 312 of my favorite people here. So happy you are here. What else is happening? Yeah, this is happening. And this is very frustrating and it's really, horrendous that this is still going on Twitter. We know what happened in Uvalde, Texas, a couple of years ago with the murders of kids in school. And we know that Meghan went down to, she went down to visit, pay her respects, and she went to one of this community centers there, I guess, and brought food and all of that stuff to the center and really build a relationship with them. What has happened is, for some strange reason, derangers have been posting all of this really horrible stuff about Meghan going there and how she disrespected people and took cameras and all the same lie that they were spouting when all this nonsense happened a couple of years ago. And so John Metz, or MTZ, he is the nephew, I think, of one of the ladies that died. It was shot in the school, and she's the one that her husband, 2 days later, he died of a heart attack because he was just so obviously distraught that his wife died, and was killed in that way. And there was a video of him going to pay respects there, and I think it was an hour later, he died of a heart attack. It was very, very tragic. So her nephew, John, Meghan, I guess when she was there, she was connected to the community center place that she was there. So she got connected with some of the families. And so she has kept in touch with their family and to make sure that they were okay. And so she would call them periodically, send them gifts, check in on them, make sure she's okay. And so he saw these horrendous posts on X, and he responded to it. And the fact that this guy, I mean, one, they're having to deal and mourn and grieve, and then they're having to deal with these horrible people online attacking Meghan with all of these lies about, her taking cameras there and how she disrespected the community and all of that stuff. And there's even now a community notes on that the post that started it all, letting people know that it's a lie. This is completely untrue what they're saying. But John posted this. He said, "I'd never posted this, but it's clear. It clearly needs to be seen. This is just a small part of the video of my mom on the phone with Meghan Markle, checking up on the family on Father's Day." And he goes on to say, "I have multiple videos of my mom on the phone with Meghan months after everything happened, checking up on the family, including sending us gifts, none of which was for the media." And of course, we know, when it happened, that's Meghan, there with some of the workers at the community center place where she brought food and all of that. And also, we know that Archwell stayed there and helped to help the community to heal, and worked with Kaboom, as we see the picture on the bottom, with the dedication, including Archwell logo, working with Kaboom and the community of Uvalde, build a playground for the community so they could come together, a place for the kids to just be kids and the community to come together and just heal. And these vile people on X and the thing too is, like, because they've been doing that, so some squaddies have been responding to them, which, guys, can we please not respond to these people? And Success Squad podcast she was very smart. She's like, instead of people responding to derangers with this stuff, because all you're doing is elevating it, that's what they want. They want attention. They want people to respond. And so they get clicks and likes. And a lot of times these people have, they have the blue check marks. Sometimes these people make money off of outrage. So instead of going and responding to it, Tina from Sussex Squad podcast posted, like, no, make community notes, put the community notes under it so that people know it's a lie. You can post the link there and ask people to upvote it so that more and more people would see that post is a lie. So that's a new feature. It's been around for a few months on X, where they can put community notes where people can see, like, oh, this tweet is a lie, it's fake. You can also put a link to actual articles with factual information so people can look at the facts instead of responding to this. And it's really irritating. And so he posted part of the video. I kind of felt queasy about it, even though he said people need to listen to it. I don't like listening on people's voice. I don't know. It creeped me out. I'm like, this was a private conversation. And he shouldn't have been put in a place where he had to post a video of Meghan talking to his aunt, talking to his mom. That he shouldn't even be put in that position while they're still trying to recover from that. But he felt so outraged that people would be saying all these things about Meghan while she has been the one that stayed there and is really helping the community. And so he put the video out there so if you want the link, let me know. I could send it. But I don't want to. I don't want to listen. I heard some part of it and I have to shut it off because it just made me feel creepy. It just made me feel really queasy because again, he wants people to hear so that way it could give people evidence that Meghan, but I don't need that to know that, what they're saying is a lie. And so, but it's really, really sick. And especially in a time like this where people, that people were still so evil and just this hatred that they will put that there. And the post that the person put had about 1,000 people liking it. And it's just like, wow, this is just sick. This is seriously sick. And so people from the community have been speaking up for Meghan and like, no, you're not from this community. That's a lie. So a lot of people have been saying that's a lie. But I think, again, when you respond to people like this, it's like, that's what they want. They're not going to take it down because why? It gives them a lot of engagement. A lot of times people, again, they make money off of outrage. So I think we have to be strategic in how we respond to stuff like this, and not making sure that you don't give them engagement. Not me going under their tweet and trying to argue with them. They don't care what your response is as long as you respond. It gives them engagement. And if they're making money on X, because people can make money on X, that's what they want. That is what they want. So don't allow them to. So yeah, but it's just really sad and really, it broke my heart. Again, these people are still grieving and then they have to sit there and respond to this kind of nonsense. But they are, at least, and it's sad that he felt like he had to put on Twitter or X a private conversation at Meghan so people will understand. Like, no, this is a lie. You're just smearing someone for no reason. And so, yeah, so it just, but again, please don't go if don't go under these people's tweets and try to, they don't care. They don't care if you're angry. They don't care if you're, if you're telling them the truth. They don't care. They just want engagement. They just want to spread hate, as much hate, and have as much people engage with them. That's what they want. I just block. I just block. If someone hadn't posted a screenshot of this, I would not even know it was there. I don't get deranges a lot under my tweets at all because the majority of them are blocked. And if I see anyone come under, I don't even engage. I just block them. I don't respond. I just literally just block them. And so, yeah, but again, it's one of those things that happened today that it just made me like, wow, people are just so full of hate for no reason at all. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Let's see. Sussex Love says, I agree with you both on principle and in fact, most of the time ignore them. But every now and again, you've got to let someone know, according to my grandmother. I mean, look, everybody handle it how they handle it. But I'm just saying, when it comes to stuff like that, especially going under their tweets, you're just playing into their hand because it's, again, they don't care if you agree or not agree. As long as you respond, you give them engagement. That's why they put it there. It is for the very reason to create outrage. And more outrage is more engagement, and more engagement is more money they get. So that's how that works, unfortunately. Let's see. Angelina says they make the argument that Meghan was using the situation to bring attention to herself, but they're the sickos using the mass murder of children and teachers to further their hatred of Meghan. Exactly. Exactly. And but the thing is, they don't see it that way. They don't see it that they just see their hate. That's it. It's unbelievable. Lydia says, and oh, she's talking to Connie. She says she passed the torch to some amazing creators like Petal, Anita, and like just missed their voices. I'm assuming you're talking about Success Squad podcast. Tina and Michelle, I know I miss them too. Have not, maybe one day they'll come and do a special and we'll hear from them again. They're very, every now and then you'll see her pop up on X, but today when this whole drama was happening, it was the same things like, instead of responding to these people, use community notes, put it there, more people will see it, and you don't have to do million people don't have to do it going under their tweet. People will see it, and then you link in the community notes the factual information, and then have people upvote it so more people will see that this person is just a liar. So yeah. I know, says Petal, while it's hard to ignore them, I mute, delete, and report. Exactly. It is hard because when you know something is a lie, it is hard. It is very, very hard to ignore when people are lying. But then after a while, you realize that they're doing it just to get a rise out of you. And it's best to block and move on. It's like they it's just like, you know what, just leave them and let them stew in their hate. Because nothing I say to them will convince them of the facts. They know what the truth is. They're not people that are not aware of what the truth is. They're literally just doing it again to create hate. That's it. They're not interested in the truth. So then why waste? It's like throwing your pearls to pigs. So and Lydia's like, yeah, pal, I miss them. Happy you and others. Happy we have you and oh, well, thank you, Lydia. Thank you. Yes. Tina literally helped me set up this podcast. I had no clue when I was like, I want to do a podcast. I had no clue. I was terrified. And Tina literally was on, we were on Zoom together and she literally walked me, Pamela and I, who's Pamela, if you don't know, one of my friends, Pamela, and I started this podcast together, and she is now doing whatever she's doing and too busy to be here. So, but literally, she got on Zoom and helped us, talked us through all the things we needed to do. We had no clue. Still learning stuff. So, thank you, Tina. But yeah, let's see. Ernie says, honestly, I've been tempted to throw curses at the Rangers. They're intriguingly sick. Yeah, I mean, look, all of us, I mean, I have that temptation. So I totally understand. Totally understand. Because again, when you see things that are hateful against people, especially someone you care about, even if you don't care about someone, it's like when you see someone deliberately lying on someone, it is in all of us to want to correct that, to be like, no, you're just being hateful. You want to go after them. But then when you realize like, well, no, they're just trying to get a rise out of you. Then it's like, okay, what would be the best way to respond to this? So anyways, moving on from this. Yeah, it's just breathe. And then there is this, we talked about this a couple of days ago. I think a couple of episodes, I mentioned this. And one of the things that we were talking about is that how American press seems to have, especially lately, since the Sussexes have moved here, they have had this pattern of adopting the worst qualities from the British press, whether it's the gossip, the royal gossip, whether it's just hiring royal reporters with no background check, it seems, no kind of due diligence, nothing. They're just sort of, you're, especially if you're a white person, you're white and you're British, okay, I will hire you. You have a British accent? Sure, you're okay. And that seems to be the thing. And it's just like, what is going on in the American press? Again, we've talked about, especially Dateline and Hollywood Reporter recently. it you would swear the people who are writing for that, well, the Dateline guy is British, honestly, but the other guy is from the US, but they have just been picking up every nasty way of reporting. And I have to, even that quote unquote reporting from the British press, including importing people who are part of hacking scandals. And it's just like, are you serious? Here we are. Washington Post, one of the most respected news outlets in the US. And what have they done? According to NPR, has alerted us to this fact. New Washington Post CEO accused of Murdoch tabloid hacking cover-up. Yes. The Washington Post, as you can see there, look at the Washington Post's motto: democracy dies in darkness. That's their motto. That's is on all of their posts. Yet they pick someone who is involved in hacking cover-up. And so now people are asking, and this guy is supposed to start next year, the beginning of next year, with the Washington Post. Who vetted this guy? Did they not do their due diligence? Did they even go, Google? All you gotta do is Google. And it's just like, how did this guy become, and we're going to read a little bit about this guy, because this is just incredible that the Washington Post would hire this guy into, again, a news outlet. Yes, it's owned by Jeff Bezos. Yes, that could be why. But a news outlet with a motto of democracy dies in darkness. So David Falkenfleck, I guess that's how he says his last name, wrote this article. It says, Prince Harry and Hugh Grant accused the next CEO of the Washington Post of helping to lead a cover-up of Murdoch British tabloid scandal more than a decade ago. Will Lewis, that's him, who went on to lead Murdoch's Wall Street Journal, has denied it, but isn't talking. And so he wrote a story about it. And this is, again, this is part of this guy. His name has come up in part of Harry and Hugh Grant and those others' court case against the Sun. And so part of it says, the Washington Post owner Jeff Bezos wanted an assured hand to write the newspaper shaky finances. He turned to Will Lewis, a 54-year-old former editor of the Daily Telegraph and former publisher of the Wall Street Journal, whom he called exceptional, tenacious. Lewis will start at the Post publisher and as the Post publisher and CEO in early January. A dozen years ago, media magnate Rupert Murdoch also turned to Lewis when he wanted to find someone to rectify the hacking and bribery scandals engulfing his British tabloid News of the World. Lewis' publicly stated charge was to root out newsroom corruption, cooperate with police, and help settle claims from people targeted by the company's journalists for voicemail and email hacking. The Guardian called him News Corp cleanup campaigner. But, hang on 1 second. Sorry about that. My phone, I forgot to turn my phone off. Okay, sorry about that. A little bit more about this story. It says, a very different picture, even though that he was supposed to be the cleanup guy, the guy, that he would basically get right their ship and get them out of this whole hacking business, and root out all of that corruption and all of that stuff. The article goes on to say a very different picture of Lewis emerges from materials presented in London courtroom in recent months and reviewed by NPR. The man picked to lead the Post, a paper with a slogan, again, democracy dies in darkness, stands accused of helping to lead a massive cover-up of criminal activity when he was acting outside the public view. In lawsuits against News Corp, British newspaper, lawyers for Prince Harry, Movie star Hugh Grant depicts Lewis as a leader of a frenzied conspiracy to kneecap public officials hostile to the multi-billion-dollar business deal and delete millions of potentially damning emails. In addition, they allege Lewis sought to shield the CEO of News Corp's British arm News UK from scrutiny and to conceal the extent of wrongdoing at the News of the World, more profitable sister, the tabloid The Sun. In sum, the Duke of Sussex and Grant argue that Lewis was a linchpin of efforts to limit the fallout during a key period between the late 2010 and 2012. And they had because I guess they were investigating this whole thing and then it didn't go anywhere. And so they were investigating with Lewis and News of the World and all of that stuff. But it didn't, I guess the Met Police dropped it, so it didn't go anywhere. Says these concerns about Lewis's action have been percolating for years. Through his spokesman, Lewis declined to comment to NPR for the story. He previously denied the broad outlines of these accusations, saying that they are utterly unfounded, which they all say. Lewis has not personally been sued as part of any of the current litigation, which offers great specificity and sweeps to the allegations. But what it does go on to say about Lewis is one of the things that the big charges that Harry and Hugh Grant has about him, especially, was the deletion of emails. He had there was a situation came up with Rupert Murdoch wanting to buy. I think it was maybe I don't remember which one of the news outlets that he wanted to buy, and there was an MP that was against it, and so Rupert Murdoch wanted to get that person away from being the person to make the decision whether he's able to buy this news outlet or not. And in order for him to get rid of this MP, Lewis apparently got some, sends a reporter in to get, basically undercover and get this MP on record claiming, his hatred of Murdoch. And so he got disqualified from being one of the people that would make the decision whether Rupert was able to buy this news outlet. And so the person that he had go in, I guess the person that he had go in and get that information. They also got the person to leak that information to the BBC. So again, the MP got disqualified. Hopefully that's not too complicated what I'm saying or too muddled, but whatever. He then went on to hire that same person to go and Rupert Murdoch hired him to go back to his company after he went to the Telegraph. Rupert Murdoch hired him back. And so he hired this person an IT person from the Telegraph to come to be with him at News of the World. And what they did was they had all of these incriminating emails from, I guess, phone hacking and all of that stuff. And they basically went through and they deleted about 30 million emails from the record. And it was like any emails prior to 2008 were completely deleted. And so that is part of the court case that Harry and Hugh Grant, and they were like, they have him have him named in this lawsuit as being the person that has hired this guy to go to basically hide and erase all of this information from from their computers and then whatever, so that Harry and his team don't have any emails before 2008 when all of that hacking stuff was happening. And so even though he isn't specifically charged, but his name is there. He's one of the people named as being, the person to cover this all up. And it's really crazy, because I'm like, if you're, especially the Washington Post, where it's like democracy died tonight, so you're all about people, making sure everything is on the up and up, making sure everything is exposed, it's out there, is The one thing you're not going to do is hire someone who has a record where you can literally, the court case is happening now. So it is been in the news. So for the Washington Post, a news outlet, to not have fact check, fact check whatever the interview process is, and go back and look at this man's background. It's not like Harry and Hugh Grant's case is an old case and years and years ago. It's literally happening right now. All you're gonna do is get the transcripts and read it and see that this guy's name in it, and I'm sure his name is also in news articles from the testimony that happened this year. So for them to not have gone and look at this guy's background, and that's the thing with this, and all of the things this man has done with with News of the World, with again, hiding and having all of these emails erased and all of this stuff. And he was also there with the Millie Dowler. Apparently Rupert Murdoch had a meeting with Millie Dowler's family, the same Millie Dowler that his news outlet News of the World hacked. Apparently he had a meeting with the family, and guess who was part of that meeting? This guy. This guy was also part of that meeting. And so it's just like, the reason why we have Leveson happen is because of the hacking of Millie Dowler's phone. And so, which is just like, for the Washington Post to not have gone and checked this guy's background is unbelievable to me. But again, with a lot of people like Lewis, like the Piers Morgans of the world, like the Dan Wootons of the world. By the way, that's another story. Dan Wooten, apparently, GB News have now, and I literally saw it before I came on, the GB News has now scrubbed him from their website and scrubbed everything. So I guess he is not with them anymore. He's now fired, I guess. And so we'll do that another day. But for them to not have gone back and, and looked in this guy's background, it's amazing to me. But again, as I was saying, Piers Morgan, the Dan Wootons of the world, and whomever, these people fail up, because in spite of him being right there in the middle of this phone hacking stuff, he was then hired again. He was back with Rupert Murdoch. He then moved to the US and got job with the Wall Street Journal and all of that. So yes, that's also Rupert Murdoch. He also owns the Wall Street Journal. And this man has just been moving up. And that's the thing with these people. They fail up whenever, they get exposed for hacking or whatever. They just get another job and with more money. And it's just like, instead of it destroying them, for some reason, they just get better jobs. They get more money. They get more notoriety. And it's crazy. And so for me, it's like, would you really want to read the Washington Post and trust anything that's in the Washington Post? If they, for simple checking this man's background, you couldn't do it. And if NPR hadn't said anything, nobody would have really known, or really, unless maybe a squatty going through the court documents and then realizing it's the same person that is at the Washington Post. I don't know how many of us read, how many people read the Washington Post, but again, it's one of the most respected U.S. outlets. But it's really crazy to me that it's just like, it's either that or they just don't care, or they have things to hide. And this is the guy that could do it, because why would you hire him then? Why would you hire someone with this kind of background? And again, it's not like this is something that is in the past. Yes, the actions were in the past, but his name is involved in a court case that is happening now, covering up phone hacking. And I'm like, are you serious? And again, that's the thing with me. That's why I cannot trust, and I say this all the time, I cannot trust U.S. news outlets. I cannot trust that what they're saying, because you see stuff like this and you're like, wait a minute, this is crazy. How am I supposed to trust anything when this is who you have working for you? How do I know you're not covering up something? How do I know? I mean, again, you're hiring someone that's coming from Rupert Murdoch outlets. Are you serious? Are you serious? So, anyways, it just, I don't know. It is just, it's crazy. Ernie, thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Carol, thank you so much for your super sticker. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your support. Thank you. Hope I didn't miss anyone else. Let's see. I'm going to scroll up for a second just to make sure I didn't miss anyone. I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Much appreciated. So, yeah. But, anyways, yeah. So that's. Yes. Yeah. Thank you guys. But yeah, that's my, yeah, it's really really hard when you see stuff like this and you see like supposedly respected news outlets and they do stuff like this and you're like, well, how can people trust any of this stuff? How can you trust the things when these are who, you don't even, how can I trust you, one, your sources? How can I trust that you, whatever story that you're putting out there, that you've literally fact checked and then background checked when you're not even doing it with the people that you're hiring to run your company? It's just like, and we saw that so much in when the US outlets were just having all of these royal reporters come on and saying, whatever they want to say about Harry and Meghan, and with no pushback, nothing. And it was not because, if it wasn't for the squad just tweeting at them, and especially people like Camilla Tominey and stuff, we would be tweeting at these outlets nonstop. It's like, hey, do you know what these people are doing? And would send them links and all of that stuff. And so now you hardly see any of them on US television. I think every once in a while, maybe Roya Nika or Robert Jobson. I still don't understand why Robert Jobson is hired, but ABC News seems to be sticking with him. But you see it a lot less now than before. But it just, they don't, again, if you have a British accent, especially if you are white, you got the job. You have the British accent, you're there. And you knew that, and from the people that they would bring on, you knew they didn't do background check. You knew it. There was no vetting done. Unbelievable. But anyways, moving on, away from that mess, to better things. Missan, we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, a week ago, whatever. Missan is now officially shortlisted for the Academy Award. So very, very exciting for Best Live Action Short Film. So there it is, Academy Award shortlist. And so Missan is celebrating. It's like, whoa, 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 I have no words. This was a team effort, and I want to thank everyone that was involved making this little film with a big heart. Let's see what fate has in store for us. So keep your fingers crossed that it gets nominated. Again, it's shortlisted. That means there's a list of about 10 short films it's in there. So from that 10, they will pick who I don't know, I think it's like about 5 of them that gets picked for the Academy Awards. So fingers crossed for Missan. And of course we remember a week ago, so him at least is when we heard about it. I think it happened in November, when he was in Santa Barbara, and him and Meghan talking about this. And of course the big thing that came out of that was poor Archie wanting a Leica camera. that went viral, and it was like, well, this is supposed to be about Missan's film, but Archie wanting a Leica became the viral thing. And so Meghan is like, nope, no Leica. So I have to advocate for their Archie. It's like, maybe on his 10th birthday, Archie can get a Leica camera. So there. But I don't use, I mean, everybody has their favorite type of camera, and mine is Panasonic. Most people are Canon, and so I guess Missan has a Leica. So there. But thank you, Cookies and Cream. 9 months a member. I appreciate your support so much. Thank you for being a member of the 2 Cents crew. Much appreciate your support. Wow. And thank you. Oh, it's like you're doing an outstanding job. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Thank you. 2 Cents crew members. Wow. 9 months. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. What else? Oh, Invictus Games today put out this because I mentioned a couple days ago that they had said that today they were going to put out a film about 2023. So it's about I think about a 2-3 minute film, just thanking and a lot of the voiceovers Prince Harry's his closing speech and so was it closing or opening? I think it was the closing speech. I think I don't remember, but and so it's about it and you get a bunch of different clips from Dusseldorf, and so it says thank you 2023 and thank you to everyone who supported, aided, recovered, and helped the Invictus Games Foundation and our goal of helping the wounded, injured, and sick service community. And so yeah, so it's a really cool. So if you, I'm actually going to put the link in the community page so that you can watch it if you'd like to. So yes, Invictus, and we are looking forward to February, 1 year to the day. That's when they're gonna be back. They are, getting ready for Invictus Games. So yeah. But anyway, that's it. That's all I think that's all I got. Thank you guys so much. I'm gonna stay in the chat for a few more minutes. And let's see. Oh, Sonia, thank you so much for your super. Oh wow, thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate it so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your generosity, guys. I appreciate it. So Jerry says, Archie's a big boy. He doesn't want a Fisher Price camera. He wants the real thing. I know, right? Remember when Harry and Meghan first moved? They had, and I swear to you, that looked like Archie's camera. I'm like, y'all were using Archie's camera with the bogus image. It looks like 720 image resolution. So you owe Archie to get him a Leica with 4K. Okay, so there. I know. And Megan had said that Missan was teaching Archie photography. And Archie have great teachers because also Harry is a photographer and Megan has done some photography. So, maybe Archie would be the photographer in the family. Because Harry had even said one of his dreams would have been to do wildlife photography. So maybe Archie would be the one to do it. So yeah. Let's see. Q&E. Hello, Quinn says, please check the DDN podcast. Is that Double Down News podcast? If that's what you mean? Podcast. They have a lot of info on Morgan and Murdoch and Charles. I will check. I'm assuming it's Double Down News podcast. I will check it. They are really, really great. So that's why I always, instead of watching mainstream media, which is ridiculous, I always watch independent news like Double Down News. I read like Declassified or Byline Times or Byline Investigates, those independent news outlets that are not the nonsense that we find in mainstream press. And again, after looking and seeing what Washington Post, that makes me run away from it even more. I don't want any part of it. People just lie. Let's see. Let's see. Scrolling up. Oh, wait, Jay met you on vacation? Ooh, nice. Enjoy wherever you are. But I feel honored that you would break your vacation. Well, not break your vacation, but take a few minutes out of your vacay to say hello to us. Hello, hello, hello. Merry, merry, happy, happy. By the way, what are you guys doing for Christmas? My friend asked me that, and I realized that I hadn't even thought about what I was doing. Like, what am I doing? I have no idea. That's me being non-traditional. What are you guys doing? I'd love to hear. Post there. Let's see. Quinn also says, this is the year deep secrets will be revealed. I think the conspiracy about Princess Diana's death might come out. In those, I wouldn't be surprised in those security case with Ravak. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if Harry's going to pursue it, continue it with the Daily Mail with the libel case. You know, the judge says he pretty much doesn't stand a chance for winning it, but you never know. Maybe Harry just wants to push it and see how far he can get with it. So who knows? Yeah. Um, let's see. Connie's like, no, Marjorie. Archie wanted a camera like Missan's. Yeah, Missan had a Leica, and Archie. Megan said when Archie get, I actually will put. I thought everyone would have seen the video by now. Maybe I'll put a link in our community page as well. Megan said she bought Archie a camera, and he's like, but that's not a Leica like Missan's. It's like, kid, you're 4. Don't tell me what camera you want to have. She's like, you're not getting a Leica, not even for Christmas. So, Archie, no Leica is coming under that Christmas tree for you. And it's funny that Leica was trending on Twitter for a couple of days. That's probably the most advertising Leica has probably gotten in a long time because that thing was trending for a couple of days. Archie and his Leica that he's not getting. So yeah. Margie says, I believe I heard somewhere that Meghan had gifted Missan a very expensive camera, but I don't know how true that is considering the source. I have no idea. Not heard that. I know that Missan actually, is amazing where he is now. He literally only picked up a camera like 5 years ago. His wife actually got him a camera. I think he was going through a really hard time, and she put a camera in his hand, and he has not looked back. And now he is photographing celebrities. He photographs for British Vogue. His work is in like what is it, like the photo museum in the UK. He worked with Netflix, actually did his film. It actually, I guess, funded and everything by Netflix. Now he's shortlisted for the Academy Award. He got, recently was invited by Apple to come to California to work, to their exhibition when they're unveiling this. Mishan has it's amazing how far he's gotten in just 5 years. It's so amazing. So, and he's such a great person. And also now he's an ambassador for Save the Children. And so he's doing fantastic. So yeah. Angelina says Harry's photography is pretty amazing. Yes, it is. I remember seeing some of his shots before he and Meghan got together. Yeah, I didn't see them before, but I saw them after, and it was really, really good. And Meghan even said that's how she kind of got to know him, from his Instagram. That's what she looked through and saw his photos. His photos were amazing. Some of his photos were on the Sussex Royal Instagram, and so it's just, yeah. And now I'm like, yeah, you should definitely be a wildlife photographer because you're really good. So from one photographer to another. So yeah. So anyways, I think let's see if anything else. Cookies and Cream says, everyone, please continue to pray for the Sussexes, each other, and the world. Yes. And so, yes. And we're going to end it on this incredibly positive note. Yes. 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 This is exactly what we need to be doing, especially now. There's so much going on. We all need prayers, and definitely peace in the world, definitely. So thank you so much for this Cookies and Cream. I appreciate it. And thank you guys so much. Thank you to our awesome moderators. Talk about Cookies and Cream, Black Queen, Karen M, Church Nelly, and Lydia. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you so much for, gosh, you taking care of this chat. You are amazing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to our wonderful 2 Cents crew who support the channel on a monthly basis. I appreciate you all so much. And to those of you who support the channel in the chat, I appreciate you with your donations, your super stickers, your super thanks. Thank you. I appreciate you so very much. And so anyways, I shall chat with you mañana. I love you, and I will talk to you later. Bye.